Ooh. Okay. All right. Hey guys, welcome to another stream. Just setting things up. Here we go. Let's get another chat. Bear with me one moment and we'll check the sound as well. Hello, Nick. Hello, Johnny.
Hello, Nick.
Okay, that sounds all right. And hello, Brian. How are you doing? Good to see you guys. So, slightly later time than normal, and we'll see whether this is going to be the new time. I think it might be. I think this might be a good time. Daniel, how are you doing? Daniel, not David. Todd, good to see you. Right, hopefully this is going to be a better time. Now, before we start, I'd like to thank Declan for doing the guest logo this week for DR Games. You can see it there on the screen. It's a green circular logo with kind of like lightning thrusting towards DR Games in the middle, and I love it. Thank you, Declan. It is an awesome logo. I think we can have a round of applause in chat there for that. Declan is Nick's son, and he has been a long time watcher of the channel. Thank you, with Nick. So I was super happy when I saw that logo. I just thought it's absolutely fabulous, Declan. I mean, you're very arty and very creative, and you kind of know how to make an impact, because it's all very well saying doing a logo, but if you do a logo that has impact like that, that's good. It's kind of like, look at my logo. And brilliant. So I'm very happy with that. Thank you, Declan. Lars, hi Toby. Glad I could make it. This is Jeff. Hi, Jeff. By the way, out of Northern California. Right. It is. He says thank you. Good. Remind us how old Declan is, Nick. Open this door a little bit. It's very warm in here, bear with me. Okay. 9. Right. So, that is an awesome logo for 9. Felicia, how are you doing? Right, now, I need to ask something. It's about how a name is pronounced. So, Joao, Joao, my friend, how do you say your name? There's much debate about it in our house. We don't know how that is pronounced. So if you could maybe type it phonetically, that would be awesome. Now I've had some. We've obviously had a couple of things go live today. So we've had the update for the codex. So we now have all backers and late pledgers have, although some late pledgers may not have got it because we maybe got to send out a few more emails. So bear with us on that front. Fingers in your nose. What do you mean? Fingers? No, J A-O J for no. I don't. I can't. Joe? No. Joe? What are you making me do? Yeah. So there's been a few things. So the table has the new tables have gone live. So we've got 1 to 8. 8 levels of the dungeon. They're ready for the backers to play. And I'm not putting my fingers up my nose live on the chat. That would just be disgusting. So they've gone live, and I've had couple of emails from Joe A. That's just how I say it, Joe. I've had one from Joe. I've had one from a couple of other guys. So I'm going to get through to those. I think I've dispatched Todd to have a look through it as well. So we're kind of getting to that point now. We want to try and pick up all the little bits. Now, because it's quite complicated for me to deal with the tables, I'm going to amalgamate all those together, and then there's going to be one final push to try and get as many of the little errors and typos and wrong table references dealt with. Now, the very nature of doing this many tables means it's really tough to pick up on all the errors. So, well, hopefully we can get most of them, but it's quite a difficult task. And so we've had those go out today, which is fabulous. And then, of course, as I've mentioned, we've got the guest logo today by Declan. So what I thought I'd do in the stream today is, rather than start a new character, because we were talking about this before, weren't we? With our man, where is he? Here. We have, yes, Arundal Knox. So we're assigning Arundal to the Hall of Fame, even though he's not dead, because he was playing the rules when they were a little bit out of date now. So they're not really a true reflection on how the game is. So we will start a new character, but we won't do that until we've finished the game. So which isn't long now. I mean, we're looking probably about 2 weeks for me to finish it off. Because hopefully we'll have level 9 and 10 done over the next week, with Clive's amazing help. Crap phone. Can't text my phone with fingers in my nose. Stop putting your fingers in your nose. And so about 2 weeks, and then what we'll do is I will, over these next couple of weeks, I will be just talking about some of the new rules for the deeper levels of the dungeon. We can have a look at that, how that works, and hopefully this isn't too bright here. Hang on, okay. Hopefully the image looks fine. It's difficult to see. Bit glary. And then so there'll be stuff like that. Felicia, I had a question about a table. I think for level 1 guard veteran, it says to roll on the table with description saying roll on the table name +1 or table name -1. What does +1 or -1 mean? Yeah. So it just means as Lars says. Now, Lars, who were you again? On your Jeff. As Jeff says, it is just a mod, basically a modification to your role. So the part of the problem that I've always faced with the game is when I'm fitting in. So when I've printed these out larger, when I'm fitting in the text, okay, I want to sort of, I don't want to be filling that text, if you see, with using unnecessary words that really can be abbreviated. So if I say -1 from the next roll, or -1. It uses up half the allocated space. So I kind of abbreviate it sometimes. It is a little bit annoying. It is annoying for me. It's annoying for some people sometimes. But once you get into the swing of it, you will see that it is just a question of abbreviation. And to be honest, there is a certain flexibility to how you interpret some of these things. You know, I'm not someone who's kind of really stuck on people's interpretation being really, you know, strict. I don't mind people take this game and play it how they want to play it. You know, the nice thing is the core to the game is solid. It's been thoroughly tested. It's been positive most of the way along. We've just been adding things along and fine tuning it and bringing the community in. And as a result, we have this what I rather modestly say a game that is potentially could be a classic. So we shall see, won't we? We shall see when level 10 is completed and people sit down fresh to it. They get their game PDF. It's going to take a little bit longer to get the printed games out to everybody, obviously, but they might sit down with it for the first time, and then they're immersed in a game that we've been sort of moulding and sculpting and delving into over the last 2-3 months, you know. And the test will be whether they feel it's a good game, and you know how much they enjoy it, and whether they'll push on to level 10. One of the things that I'm thinking about at the moment is repetition. So what I'm concerned about is that there's not as much difference as you go through levels. So I've made a concerted effort to try and make every second level quite different in its content and its meaning. So as I've gone further down, so level 6 we had some new rules, and level 8 we've got some new rules. So I'm trying to kind of make it slightly different, which is what part of the focus this evening. I want to look at the new rules for level 8, and we're going to talk about those. And then I'm going to have a little test. I'm going to draw some maps, generate a few rooms. I'm not going to encounter anything. I'm not going to play a character. I just want to see exactly what the layout is like and whether my plan for the monster maze, it really works. I've done a little bit of testing and it seems fine, but I'm going to do a bit more here, and we'll see live whether the rules for level 8 are going to come into place. Perhaps adopt a shorthand, e.g. table, name, plus, minus, and some standard abbreviations with yes. It's a really, really good point, Crapphone. I have kind of done that. I've kind of done it. And what I've tried to do is get like mid-ground between making it too abbreviated so it can't just be picked up and read, but yet too obvious. I've used an economy of space. So it's kind of fallen in the middle, because what I found is when I was abbreviating stuff, people were coming back to me all the time saying, what does this mean? What does this mean? What does L1PR mean? That's an abbreviation I reference in the book. And that one abbreviation, liberate one prisoner, has caused the most confusion for people. And it clearly says in the book to liberate one prisoner. Now, I don't blame anybody for not understanding what that means. So I kind of, so I thought that made me think, well, I need to avoid the abbreviations as much as possible. Jeff says, I played for the first time last week, went through level 1 and loved it. Well, Jeff, thank you very much. And your feedback was wonderful. For me, okay, the mechanics and seeing how that works is great. I mean, people tell me what's happening, and I need to understand that and make sure it's balanced. But when then people tell me the stories, like Brian, your stories, and you know about the game, and Todd, your beautiful stories, and I read bits, I take bits out, so I see the map, and I'll take a bit and the room, and I'll look up that room on your description, and it gives me information about how it works. it's the stories that I'm thinking, right, that is working. That is working. They're feeling that. They're experiencing that. That's what I want. I want to be taken back to the good old D&D days. Yes, Brian says, from my D&D days, I often used DGE for damage. Exactly. Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. But we're kind of a bit hardcore when it comes to stuff like that. And there's a lot of people who I want to be able to access this game and have them kind of like not have any barriers, if you see what I mean. And I think that I think we've got a mid-ground. There are some abbreviations in here. There's some sort of shorthand references. Maybe where I've shortened the English slightly. And it's not ideal, but there's a lot of descriptions. There's a lot of content. And it could have easily been a project much bigger, in the sense that these could have been like 3 pages each, the 11 rooms. And I'm like, but then the book would be really ridiculously thick, and it wouldn't be as quick, and it's the speed that I'm kind of going for as well, without it being too involved. And you kind of get what I'm saying. No maze is complete without wall trying to eat you at least once. There are some sucking walls going on. Felicity, me too, Lars. Such an amazing creative game. Thank you, guys. That's very kind. I'm very excited about it, and just love hearing about people's adventures. Grapphone, maybe some fan content. Make a lookup table. Yes. That is an absolutely brilliant comment, Crapphone. The fact of the matter is, once this game is finished, I'm going to encourage people to create tables, to create short abbreviations. You know, let's get this down. So this is a good foundation for us all before before people start writing their own content. But that is going to be so exciting. I want to sit down in the future and play dungeons other people have written, you know, and it's using the tables. So there's exciting things ahead. I mean, there's exciting things. I want to do like a Space Hulk type expansion for this as well. That's a couple of expansions down the line, but there is going to be a sci-fi version where you explore a ship in space, and there's like be a series of levels and tables specifically for that. Jeff says, I did test with level 6-7 monsters with a character created for purpose with +3 shift and maneuvers. I had successful hits almost every time, 90%. Is that like everyone else? Yes, that is. So as you get deeper in, the combat changes, and it is a lot of hitting. And I kind of sat back and I thought to myself, is that how I want it to be? Is that how the game should evolve? And it occurs to me, as you get down there and your abilities are improving and the monsters you're fighting are more skilled, they are going to hit you more, aren't they? It just seems like a natural progression. So I'm pleased with how that is, and it becomes a bit of a challenge to do more damage. So using the potion bombs, using hoping for exact strikes, that type of thing, balancing your potion use, your scrolls when you're using your throwing weapons, and then so it becomes more about how much damage you can do rather than missing. So there's a definite shift, but I'm quite happy with how that's working out. Cody, how are you doing, my friend? Hello, Toby. How are you doing? Almost to the end. 2 levels to go. Congratulations. Thank you, Cody. Yes, we were just saying that. It is quite amazing to think that I'm now working on the final set of monsters for the dungeon. But there will be, obviously, the Lairs expansions, which I'm excited about. I've got some new kind of ideas about dungeon generation, which are going to slot nicely into the current system. And so they will be there to be done as well. They're 2 larger dungeon levels. So rather than going deep, these are just larger levels. And so they're kind of like you just don't go as deep. You just spread out more. But we'll talk more about those once we've got this finished. And Felicia says, I've gotten used to the table names. I just searched for them quickly in the PDF viewer. Excellent. Jeff says, I keep writing GP for gold pieces instead of GC for gold coins, AD&D days. Yeah. Oh, I know. The question of what currency to use, I just went with coins. I just think it's the most kind of generic type form. It wasn't too much of an issue. I even included the copper coins because I felt like they needed pennies for some things just to stress their worthlessness. So, whereas we're often trading in gold and silver. So, that'd be amazing to see what people come up with. Yes, Felicia, it will be amazing. Crapphone, Space Hulk, Coolio. That would be gold. Yes. I am for high hits, mighty blows given and taken. Yeah, exactly. And then what I found was when I've been testing for the higher levels, and what's been exciting is when people miss. That's when, so the stress is then, it shifts. So if you've got a villain who misses, you're like, wow, now's my chance. And it kind of gives you that that moment of initiative, which I think it's a dichotomy. It's kind of like a shift from the earlier levels when you're not so good to this kind of like elite warrior. And so there's definitely I feel like a really good kind of progression in that area. So no, I'm pleased. It's been fascinating hearing people's comments, seeing how this system evolves, and just keeping the balance. And God, the testers, everybody's been so helpful. I appreciate everybody that has kind of gone in and made an effort for me, spent some time working on it. So brilliant. Keep your stories coming. You can always email me if you've got any questions. It's toby@drgames.co.uk, as like our website is drgames.co.uk. Yeah, it's very exciting. It's fascinating. It's a delight to work on. I'm very lucky. Andrew, how are you doing, Andrew? Been out of the loop for a bit. Hope game dev is going well and exciting. Hey, Andrew. Yes, it is. And I always saw with this process there was going to be a big onboarding at the beginning. Once I could see the success of the Kickstarter, and we were going to have lots of feedback. But the fact of the matter is, there's always a burnout period for people who play games like this. If you're an experienced gamer, like someone like Brian, say for example, Brian has a consistency. He does these beautiful maps that he puts up on the Facebook group, and I love looking at them, seeing them, and it confirms things for me. And he keeps those coming at a steady pace. He's not going big, all guns in at one point and bang, and you kind of feel like you're dragging because there's so much weight of expectation on what your next email is going to be. There's a consistency, and that's what I find personally is the best way to be with these things. So I've tried to be consistent. I tried to get back to everybody's comments, and it's worked out really nicely. I just really pleased with how the development has been going. So yeah, good to have you back in here, Andrew. And Joao, how do you say your name? Write it phonetically. Putting my fingers in my nose isn't going to help. I need to know how to say your name. Can you write it phonetically? What's it sound? What word does it sound like in English? Come on, Mr. Campos. I have to call you Mr. Campos from now on. Shield Dice Studio. Happy to catch this live. Loving this project. So happy I was able to do a late pledge. Well, it's a pleasure to have you on board, Shield Dice Studio. I do like that's a very cool name you got there. Jow. Felicia is laughing. Yeah. Jow. The thing is, right, we get emails from people and we like, because, you know, I work at home on my own. My wife has another job. She does the logistics management for the business part-time. So she's really busy. And, you know, we talk about some of the emails we get, and it's nice to attach names to these things, you know. It's sort of characters through emails, and we kind of like to know who we're calling the particular names. Ow? Anybody else, any guesses about how you might say Joao? It's a wonderful name. I just don't know how to say it. Jow, I think Jeff's probably right. And James, my friend. James is here. James is hardcore. He's been with us for a while now. Hi, finally got to another one of these live streams. I might be AFK for a while, but I'll try at least to listen in. Well, James, it's a pleasure to have you here, my friend. Yes, one of the guys that's given some really valuable feedback over the years. Sent a video by mail just now. Oh my God. Okay. Right. Since Dark Force Incursion, James says. That is the first game. That was our first game, Dark Force Incursion. So do we want to see Zhao's video? I'm going to have to turn the chat off for a moment. Do we want to see Zhao's video, how he says his name? Now, he's sent me a video. I don't know what's on the video yet, so I'll have to just check it quickly. Otherwise, get banned on Twitch, on YouTube. Yes, Johnny says. Have to. Jeff says. Okay. Yes. There's okay. Right. Okay. Let's do this. Safe for work. Jeff says. It's the picture, Zhao, that you've got on there that is and Brian's been here since Dark Force Incursion as well. Two hardcore guys. Okay. Hey Toby, totally stumbled on this today. Great to see you again, sir. It's Brett. I thought it was Brett. Brett, that's very confusing. JB. So you must use your second name. Brett, good to see you. Good to see you, my friend. Another hardcore. Right, let's look at this video. Okay, hang on. Right, I can't see the chat. Here we go. Okay. Have to turn this up. Here we go.
Hello, Toby. Well, my name is spelled João.
Okay, here we go. You ready for this? All right, here we go. Okay, this is fantastic.
Hello, Toby. Well, my name is spelled João. Ow. With
Ow.
the fingers in the nose like this.
Ow.
Not this, okay? Cheers.
All right, okay, that is brilliant. Right,
Hello, Toby.
listen one more time.
Well, my name is spelled João.
João.
Fingers in the nose like
Okay.
this. Not this.
João. Okay, hang on. Let me get back to this. Okay. Let's just play this. Okay. Right, turn that down again. Sorry. João. I think João. I think that was pretty much Julia Brett Moyer, a smash of our names. I get you. Okay, right. That's confusing. So let's just sum up on Joao. It says owl like in hoot, as in the bird, owl. Joao. Never going to remember that. Mind you, I got the video. Okay, that was fantastic, Joao. Brilliant. I do love names. I spend quite a bit of my time making up names for things. So I use so I've mentioned, I might have mentioned this before, but I use like Joao, yeah, Joao. That's probably a better way to remember it, Andrew. So can we have a round of applause for Joao, please, everybody? I don't know what we do in the chat, but maybe some clapping or some thank yous or you are awesome. That would be brilliant. We haven't got like a channel thing, do we? But that was fantastic. Thank you, Joao. That was brilliant. Okay. Didn't think I have seen your name since Radzone streams, Nick says. That is a good question. I think you may have been in early. Yes, clap. Thank you, Joel. Brilliant. Okay, you guys are great. So Julia Brett, brilliant. For a minute there, I thought that your first name was Julia, and that was really confusing me. So awesome stuff. High fives. Good. Right. So what we'll do is I think we'll have a little read of the new rules for level 8. Fantastic stuff. So let me just get this little thing here. So this is the list of levels for the dungeon. So we've just published level 7, the Menagerie, and level 8, the Monster Maze. So level 7, the Menagerie, and each level, incidentally, is going to have a little bit of descriptive text in the front. I need to get Brent. I'm going to write those out and send those to Brent to have a double check. And then it will then come back to everybody else to have a look at as well. And we have... the Menagerie is very much about the Keeper and the Pen Tamer, two powerful humans who have a level of the dungeon where they keep animals. Now, level 7 is going to be particularly important for the overland expansion when we do that later in the year, when we do the Kingdom expansion. And basically, the creatures in the Menagerie are bred to be released onto the surface level of Cortana, and sorry, not Cortana, Corridan, of Corridan and the world, and they are basically released through a portal which you can find on level 7 that takes them back onto the surface. But they're bred in this level and you kind of encounter them and get through that level. And then we have level 8, which is a bit more sort of run down, and it's a monster maze where I've tried to make it so that it's more like experiencing a maze, a classical sort of maze, and I've used a Minotaur in there. That's something that is been used in so many games, and I thought, why not? We're drawing on OSR, aren't we? We're drawing on old D&D. We're drawing on ancient myths and legends, Greek and Roman god type profiles. There's a lot being drawn into the game. And so, always love the Minotaur. Javier, I'm here. How late am I? Good evening, everybody. Javier, good to see you, my friend. You're not... what time is it? Blimey. We've had 40 minutes, but no, we haven't really talked much about the game. We've just been having a great chat. and we've been learning how to say Joe Owl's name, which has been brilliant. Todd Mays by Daedalus. Indeed. There's lots of classical type references going on here. So I thought to myself, how can I make this maze different? We've got 4 main monsters that you can experience on this level. Javier. I'm just a terrible. I'm just a terrible person who speaks English and nothing else. In the sense that we're in England, we're terrible with languages. It's really bad. Javier. I've taught you once already. You will find with stuff like that, you'll have to teach me again, I'm afraid. So we have the Minotaur here. 2000 XP. Look at that there. Lots of damage. You can be winded, powerful. I'm going to skip that one. They've got the Cyclops here. Slightly different take on the Cyclops. Like if you've watched the Sinbad films, you would have seen the Cyclops kind of hoof-footed giant of a creature with a horn and then the one eye, big kind of ugly thing. Well, I thought we'll do something different and we'll have a Cyclops which is more human and mystical and powerful, and then they have a kind of psychic power type approach. I jest. I know you do. Don't worry. And then we have an Ingeti, which is a take on the Yeti, but my own version of it, if you like, with my own word. And it's kind of like a snow ice type monster, but a bit more sort of terrifying, a bit more kind of scary. And then we have the Lizard King. And this is a direct nod to Book 7 in the Fighting Fantasy series, The Island of the Lizard King. And I didn't think that would be an issue because Lizard Kings appear in lots of other things as well. So the Lizard King there, 4 sort of powerful creatures. And you will run into these creatures in the dungeon, in the monster maze, through encountering the room sequences. So room sequences, if you're not aware, if you roll a room sequence, if you roll a room that has a number next to it with a letter, that is part of a room sequence. You have started a room sequence. Now, doesn't matter if you roll 1C, you have to go straight to 1A on the room sequence and begin a sequence of rooms which are themed, if you like, and lead you to the end goal, which is to face a boss creature. Like here, the ceiling carvings, the eyeball vision, the sacrifice room, and the Cyclops study. And that is a sequence. Now, you follow those consecutively, whatever route you take. You can retreat. You can retreat out of these, but if you carry that particular line of rooms on, it will carry on the room sequence. Okay. Leffard, not Jim Morrison of The Doors. I am the Lizard King. I can do anything. Oh, I see. Right. No, actually. Well, that may have been inspiration for the book, to be honest. It could be. Maybe. Johnny, how are you doing? Good to see you. Almost missed this live stream. Well, good to have you in. Have I missed anything important reveals? There's a few things. We've had a good old chinwag beforehand. You've got the Minotaur, the Cyclops, the Ingeti, and the Lizard King are the main monsters on level 8. So we're talking about the Monster Maze, level 8. And the room sequences here Now, all the room sequences have archways for the first rooms because there's not going to be a way of blocking your path through those room sequences. And there's room sequences on level 6, 7 and 8, and there will be on 9. Level 10 is going to be a whole different affair. I've got some other rules lined up for that one. But in the short term, let's have a look at level 8 rules. So, to spice things up a bit and change it, level 8, smaller rooms and more corridors. When exploring level 8, deduct 2 from both dice. So, for example, if you roll 4 and then a 4, then the modified result will be 2 and 2. 1 is the lowest number. It can be modified to if a 3 and 2 is rolled. The modified result will be 1 and 1. This will result in more corridors and small rooms. Do not deduct 2 from the dice when rolling the second time after rolling doubles on the first roll. So if we have if I rolled, say a 4 and a 4, it would be 2 and 2. So it would be a small room. Well, it wouldn't actually, because it's a double. So it would be 2 and 2, and then you'd roll again. And you don't deduct from the second roll. So you can still get large rooms. There's less large rooms, there's more small rooms. We're going to have a little play with that in a minute and see how that works. If we do get a large room, and hopefully you do, when you encounter a large room with level 8, it is dealt with very differently. You do not roll on the large rooms table. So you won't find the large room table for level 8. There isn't such a thing. Instead, calculate the exits. Then, within the area of the large room, draw in a series of walls so it looks like a mini maze. Then roll on the table L8MO for you find an object in the maze. Okay. Island of the Lizard King. Don't think I ever played that one though. Well, have I got it over here? Should be here. Aha. DRC Fungus. Thank you, my friend. Comes in with good day. Keep up the great work from across the pond. It's a funny old saying that, but when I hear it, it does make me feel like, you know, we are kind of like brothers. You know, the Americans and the British. I think we're kind of very close as people. Having spent time in lots of different parts of the world, I definitely feel a definite. Although I haven't been to America, I have to admit, but a lot of Americans I've known, they've always been really nice to me. So maybe I'm just lucky. So Island of the Lizard King is here, and this was a fantastic book when I was younger. Always felt like I enjoyed the Ian Livingstone books more than the Steve Jackson. Interesting, Johnny. That is an interesting one. Now, I like the differences. I like them both. Ian is much tougher on the reader. So The Creature of Havoc, I think, is one of Ian Livingstone's ones. And that is really tough. There's some great pictures in here. The artwork, oh my God. I've talked about them before. This is one of the greatest influences on me as a writer and creator. This kind of fed my imagination and fueled me and created this foundation to go forward and create fantasy worlds. And I did. I was very lucky. I had 2 younger brothers who were perfect players, and I would DM hundreds of games for them, and we'd play lots of stuff together. I was very lucky. They were very similar ages, so fantastic. Anyway, you can see here, this is an example, this image here. It just simply draws some lines. You don't have to be like an expert or anything. It just makes it look a bit mazy. Todd comes in with Lizard King has me thinking light novel manga references myself. Adventurers Guild subjugation target for materials. Well, as Amazeballs. Amazeballs. You said it. Okay. Lefford says Sorcery is my favourite series, but I did prefer Stone in the main run. Yeah, it's a funny one, isn't it? I mean, I was a massive fan of Sorcery. What's his name? Blanche, who did the illustrations for that. Oh, they're just fantastic. Really amazing stuff. I mean, actually, the Sorcery books, I might do like a video about those to see. Before this project, I was doing some sort of history of RPG videos on this channel, the YouTube channel now, because I'm just fascinated by that. And if I've got a book and I want to share my experiences, I put them out in a video. And I probably will at some point come back to doing some more of those. But at the moment, it's all about 2D6 Dungeon, which is fantastic. Anyway, I get distracted far too easily. Yes, he did. Blanche, however you say his name, Blanc, really added to the atmosphere. Okay, so, and long-awaited rules for fleeing, but there's a caveat here. This is just for level 8 monsters, I'm afraid. Fleeing level 8 monsters. James says, I really like the Sorcery series too, especially how you could be sent between books. When I was about 11, one Christmas, I was given the Sorcery box set. It just has book 1 and the spell book in there. But, the box was designed, it looked like an old book, and you take out the spell book and it had an old kind of spell book type cover to it. It's just that Christmas I was happy to live in that Sorcery world. It was fantastic. I was probably about 11. Fleeing level 8 monsters. On this level, and only this level, you can flee from level 8 monsters due to the fact they are self-contained within their own room sequence. They also do not alert the hierarchy of the dungeon to your presence, trapped as they are in the depths of the dungeon. To flee from a monster, you leave the combat and the room during your round without hitting the monster. They get a free attack as you escape. You must then remain in the monster's room sequence. This is important. The previous 3 books within this space, you can carry out any action, and some of these may be healing or making potion bombs, but once you have completed these activities, the monster appears and you continue the fight. The monster has the same remaining HP as when you finished fighting it before. You cannot go beyond the monster's room sequence, for if you try, the creature catches you and attacks. So this process of fleeing is temporary fix for inevitable conclusion to the fight, but it can buy you time and give you further options. And this is an important bit as well. When fleeing, once for each room you return to in the monster's room sequence, you can conduct a desperate search. Roll on L8DS. So there is a level 8 desperate search table which is included in the new update that we had today. And the reason is, my thinking here is, if you are fleeing in the combat, you need to find stuff. Nick says, Declan and I have to head out. Have a great week, Toby and everyone. Okay, see you, Nick. Everybody, Declan is Nick's son. He did the guest logo on the screen there, you can see. So, fabulous stuff. Thank you, Declan. Have a good day, guys, and take care, and we'll catch up soon. Hopefully, Nick, that your copy of Trade Nation has arrived. Oh, didn't it? Did it arrive? It did arrive, I think. I can't remember. But in any case, have a good day. So, when fleeing, you roll on that table. So, what I thought we could do today is do a little test of the new room generation without actually having a character. I'm just gonna get my pencil. Right. So, I'm going to just... I will draw a little border around here. It's going to be quite big. Don't forget that the levels for your dungeon don't all have to be the same size. You can have different size levels if you feel like, right, we're going to go for a big one. Or if you're feeling like, oh, I'm a bit pushed here, you can make your levels smaller, as long as it's at least 20 by 20. Manticores are still one of my favourite fantasy adversaries, due to the Shalamanti Hills, yes, cover. Oh, yeah, and the one in Death Trap Dungeon. Yeah, oh my word. No, I agree. That picture of that Griffin Manticore type creature. Oh, just fantastic. Have I got that one up here? Hang on. Oh no, it hasn't got it. So I picked this up. This was Sorcery 4. I haven't got the original books, unfortunately. I'm gonna pick them up. But this was £1 in a charity shop. It's a really good quality. These are actually going up in price now. These were like later editions. This has actually got the spell books at the back. You can see these awesome illustrations. But has it got the Manticore in here? Let's have a look. I don't know whether it's going to, because it was the colour image on the front. It wasn't a black and white image. These are, and you can see John Blanche, or John Blanche. I think it's John Blanche. And there are some amazing. I have those reprints too, mainly because I don't buy a lot of Final Fantasy books when I was younger. I didn't. Yes. Yeah, whenever I see any Final Fantasy now, I buy it. It's so rare to get it. It's like just become much more collectible. I mean, you can go on to eBay and spend like £5 to £15 a book. But I like to try and find them in the shops. I don't think it's got it in there, but that is an awesome. They're just awesome, just absolutely brilliant. Okay. I'm just drawing the border here, the outer boundary. Here we go, and then we can have a little see what happens. And I've also been thinking that this system might just be great just to generate a dungeon anyway for your D&D groups, you know. So, all right, we've gone down. There's one. You get the stairs, and you get one space, and then you're into the dungeon here. Okay. Right. Brilliant. Johnny, I picked up Sorcery 1 and 2 at a charity shop. Need the other two to match. Orange spines. Oh yes, the orange spines. They are fantastic. I want to get the box set. I've got to find the box set somewhere. The original box set for book 1 and the spell book. When I was some of you probably know, we moved to Australia 5 years ago, and we lived there for a year because I was doing my doctorate. And when we moved, I packed all my Fighting Fantasy books into one box, and that box disappeared. So I have since then been in the process of trying to replace a lot of them. So I'm always looking in charity shops for them. I just love them, and yeah, that has been that was heartbreaking, because I had all the original books, and I had bound them in white paper and written on the front what the books were. I was kind of obsessed with it, and I don't know why I did that, but I did. And yeah, they were all there, and I lost all that stuff, which was a real shame. It was opened by customs and then disappeared. Yes, it seems that way. There's obviously a Fighting Fantasy fan. I have the box set you mentioned, which I got from a charity shop myself. So there is hope. And I requaint the charity shops frequently, looking for stuff like that. I have picked up some on YouTube, but I prefer to find them. Right, so we are going to have here. We're going to have the wall next to me here. Turtle Go, aka Vincent, I think. Hi, about D&D. I want to try this for Generation. We'll let you know how it goes. Is it Vincent Turtle Go? I think I ask you this every time. Yeah, exactly. That would be brilliant. Feedback would be awesome. Just anything like that. It goes. I keep all that feedback. I've got a massive file of people's feedback. So good. So when exploring level 8, deduct 2 from both dice. So for example, if you roll 4 and then 4, the modified result will be 2 and 2. Let's do this. So that is a corridor 1 and it's a 4. So you can't deduct from the 1 obviously. So it's a 1 and a 4, and I am. Oh no, let's do a starting room. So let's give it a starting room of. It's getting a bit carried away. Put a starting room in here. Like that. I mean, that's a D and... Oh. Turtle Go. Who... Oh. Who... Oh. Who is it then? Who... What other name do I know you by? Don't tease me like this. Okay, so... Right, so the first room was a corridor, 4 by 1... Let's put it in there like that. How many exits does the corridor have? Oh, no, it's just 1 die for the exits. Oh, so we've got 3 exits. So we'll use this one here as an exit. You can add 1 on if you want. I think I will. And then I'm going to have an exit over here. Like so. Already looking a little bit maze-like, isn't it? And then let's do it again. So we're going to go this room over here. So we have got rolling the 1s is a bit weird. 1, 3. So we're going to add another 3 on here. Okay. And this section here, how many exits? 2. So we're going to have 1 down here, and then we're going to add 1 on the end here. Can you see what I'm doing? Hopefully. Okay. Right, and then we're going to go down to this room here. Double 2, which is double 1, but I'm going to roll again. Double 1, 2, so we've got 2 and a 6, so 2, 7 by 2. So we've got, in fact, we can fill this in here. That fits in nicely. 3 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then by 2 here. Like so. How many exits? 1, and we'll leave that one there as the exit. Now, what type of room is this? I'm not going to experience the rooms, but we're going to make a little note of what they are. I printed them out bigger. When the final game is finished, I'm going to have all the rooms for the levels and the event tables in a separate file that you can download where they're bigger. I mean, there's no reason why you can't print them out big yourself, but I want to put them on A4 and letter size paper, so it's a handy tool. What is level 8 again? Good question. Level 8 is the monster maze. Okay, so what we've got for this one? 33. This is the ornate statue. Okay, and the ornate statue is part of the sequence that leads to the Minotaur Hall. Okay, so that there is ornate statues. So we've entered in to the first room for the Minotaur sequence. So we're going to then experience those rooms through this area here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry on with these particular rooms. So this one's a dead end. So we're going to go up here through this exit on this side. We're rolling lots of ones. So that's 1 by 4. So we've got another 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Now, how many exits? 2. So we're going to have 1 at the end and then 1 here. Okay, so I'm going to carry on with this room here. 1, blimey. For that one, yes, we did, yeah. So 1 and 3. So I'm going to go 1 and so 1 across and 3 up. I might have just been doing that slightly wrong. It doesn't really matter. So 1 across and 3 up. So we're going to go straight up here. I've got my X and Y's around the wrong way. Then you're gonna do that sometimes. And then we've got for exits for this particular thing we've got 2. So we can cut the end off like that and put 2 exits here. Let's do that. And then we're going to roll for this room here. And that is 2. So that is 1. 1 across and 3 up. Because that is -2, which makes it 1, because you can't go lower than 1. And then -2 from 5 is 3. So we've got 1, 2, 3. So we've got like a kind of parallel passage to it. Unbelievable. The rolls today. So it's 3 across and then 1 up. So I'm going to we'll roll for exits for this one first. So 2 exits. So we'll do 1 up and then we're going to do 1 down as well. Here. And going to go to this room above. Wow. So that's 1, 1. So that is just a small little corridor there with 0 exits, a dead end. Okay, and then we've got this space down here, which is only going to be, which can only be a 2 by 3. So what's your reasoning with the subtracted 2? Sorry, I missed that. Right. So for smaller rooms, this is the maze room. This is the maze level. So it's the monster maze. When exploring level 8, deduct 2 from both dice. So for example, if you roll 4 and a 4, then modifier result is 2 and 2. Do not deduct 2 from the dice when rolling the second time after rolling doubles from the first. So we're just doing a little bit of testing basically to see what sort of maze type structure we get. So ironically, the only time I've rolled slightly higher is in a space where it can't be done. So this will be like so. That will go up to this point there. It's kind of like a dead end in the corner here. And then exits 6. So we've got 1 there, and I'm going to connect up these 2 here. So those can connect. Why not? And we've got this kind of corridor up here. Right, I'm going to leave that corridor for the minute. It seems entirely possible to fill the sheet with corridors and just a very small final room. Well, so far I've managed to roll 1 with every dice, but we are going to see, aren't we? So I'm going to come out of this room here. 5, 4. So that is 3, 2. So that gives me a 3 by 2 room, which is a small room. Here. Be very unlucky just to roll corridors. Okay, so we've got a small room. Now, when you roll room sequences, I've got it here. What was my ruling on that? Room sequences. Really started to look like a maze. Yeah, it is, isn't it? That was the hope. Let me just check something here. If you are a small room as the next room, ignore the sequence and continue it when you next roll a normal or large room. If you roll a large room, make it part of this room sequence. Okay. As I thought, I just wanted to check. Statistically speaking, you would end up with 1/2 of the time, assuming the odds of rolling 3, 2, 1 remain consistent. Yeah. Well, this is a small room for level. So I printed that out a bit bigger. This small room. It's this throwing the dice on the floor. Right, is 11 ceremonial stone. So we'll put that in there. Let's attach that to there. You've got to think about doubles as well. So there's a large stone mounted on the wall here. Scrawled on it is some alien writing that you do not understand. Okay, right. So ceremonial stone. How many exits? There is 1, and we'll go up here. The fact that I'm rolling the 1 is quite that's deceptive with how this is forming, but you know that may well be how it goes for some people. Just put that down there like that. Okay. So 1 by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I slightly did these wrong with the X and Y axes. Doesn't really matter. Okay, how many exits? 1. So we'll close the end and have the 1 go into here, maybe. In fact, let's put it down at the lowest level. And that was the lowest level. Okay, Put it there. I'm intrigued to see whether we can connect it up to this one here. All corridors from small rooms and all exits from corridors and rooms are arches. Right, so this one here, 6-2. So that is one across and 4 up. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many exits? That is 2. So we go 1 up and then 1 across. And 1, 2. Wow. So that is that one there. How many exits? 1. So what we'll do is we'll bring the exit down here like this. Connect these up. Okay. So we've got a 4 and a 1. So it doesn't connect up. We'll go 4 this way. It may do still. And then how many exits? 1. And then we have rolled a 2 and a 4. We're not getting any doubles, 2 and a 4. Okay, which is perfect. So we've got 2 down, 4. No, 2 across and 4 down. Okay, so it doesn't quite fit in there, but that is a small space in there. So it kind of connects up to this passage here. What is this small room? I forgot exactly, but the -2 seems like a theme change effect for this particular level to force more smaller rooms and corridors to get more maze-like. Exactly. That is exactly what the aim was when I thought it up. All right, 66. We could do with one of those to get a nice big room in this dungeon. But that is on the small table. So that makes that room there. An internal arch. There are stone arch spanning this space. There is a stone arch spanning this space. It seems more decorative than supportive. Okay, stone arch. Let's put that there. One in 12 chance of doubles. 2 to 5. 2, 4. 4, 5, or 6. Because there is a Minotaur in there somewhere. Yes, exactly. There will be. Alright, so we are heading this way. Haha! Haha! 6 and 5. So this is going to be 4 and 3. Which is 3 up and 4 across. And we are still in the Minotaur sequence of rooms. So we don't roll for this room because it carries on with the room sequence. Remember I said, if you get into a room sequence like the Minotaurs, like these ones here, then what happens is the next room, normal room, or large room you encounter becomes part of that sequence. So we had the ornate statues before. This is the decorative columns, which is the second room in the sequence 2B. This space is lined with 5 columns. They are closely spaced to create a kind of miniature maze. All right. I didn't put any statues in this one before. Let's do that quickly. There we go. Columns. Just put some columns in here. Kind of like got to weave your way through here. And now there is obviously a your path narrows as you see a spear shoot at you. Pass a DC 10-1, a PC PC 10, 2. And that is your perception check to sidestep it or lose precision check. Sorry. Yeah, to lose or lose 8 health points. So there's like a trap, but we need to roll for exits, so let's do that. 5, we have 2, which is fantastic. We'll do 1 up there and 1 down there. Why did you deduct? Thought you rolled double before. Javier. I don't think I did roll a double. If I did, I ballsed up there. We're just doing this to sort of get an idea about how this generates, really, rather than worrying too much. Decorative columns. Just write that there. Fantastic. Okay, and we've got these 2 exits here. Jeff, if it is within a sequence of rooms, will there always be at least 1 exit? Not necessarily from that room, but the room that you then go to after, it will be. So if you're unlucky and you roll a 1 and you come back out and then the next room you go to is that part of that sequence, if you like. So it's not like they're necessarily lined up. As you can see, there's 1 there and there's 1 there, but this is all part of the theme of the Minotaur in that space. And then we have, there's on the level 6, in the rulebook, there's a detailed description of the room sequences. I should have printed that out as well because I just didn't really think, but that is obviously an important part of level 8 as well. So, next room, we have a 1 and a 4, because we're minusing 2, don't forget. So, we're going down this way. So, it's 1 down and 4. So 1 across and 4 down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is interesting. Okay. How many exits in this space? 5. So we've got 1 at the bottom. We'll leave that like that. Then I'm going to put 1 here. Now this poses an interesting situation. So there's a space here. I'm just going to connect them up. Use a little bit of creative license there. Connect them up. So that connects to that particular location. And we've got the 1 exit at the bottom. I'm not going to add an extra exit square onto that one because there's a pathway here which is going to naturally connect up to that, which would be awesome. So going down just to fill this space, we've got a 1 and a 3. So 1 down and 3. So 1 across and 3 down for this one. So we'll go 1 thickness and then 3 down. So we're going to go like that. And I'm going to connect up these here because it's only 1 space. And then we've got this space here. Now looking at this, this is going to give me this exit here is going to give me, let's just do how many exits? 1. So that 1 I've just used up by connecting that one there. So this is a dead end. Okay. So we've got 3 exits. So we've got 1 over here still, which is right up against the wall, which could be a room within that space. And then we've got 1 exit there, 1 corridor there, 1 corridor there, and 1 corridor there. So there's 3 points at which we can expand this out. We've already experienced the ornate statues and the decorative columns in this maze. And we have rolled a 1 and a 1, so it's just a single room, single square there for that one. Does it need to be a natural double, or does it 1-1 after the deductions count as a double? No, it's a natural double. That is a good point. Natural doubles for level 8. I might put a little note in there. Good spot, Daniel. So how many exits on this one? So we've got one. We've got one. So we'll just go up. Yeah. And we've got 1 and a 3. 1, 2, 3. Straight up. It's a long corridor. Oh, how many exits for this one? 5. So in this one we've got 2 exits. So I'm going to put the exit sideways here, and then make that a dead end. And I'm going to go this way, which is a 1 and a 1. So again, it's a single exit space with, and how many exits does that have? Has 2. I'm going to go 1 forward and then 1 down. Hang on. Yeah, 1 down. Like that, and 1 forward. Like so. I'm going to go this one down here. Look, 1s! How many 1s have I rolled this evening? Wow. That is amazing. So that is actually a corridor down to there. How many exits? 1. And I'm going to put the exit this way and close the end off there. And then this bottom one, double 6. Okay. So that's double 4. Right? Double 4 plus so 7 by 5. 7 by 5. Here we go. 7 by 5. We can fit this in. This is going to connect here as well. This is nice. So it's 7 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, good. It goes right up to the wall. So we're going to have two entrances in. So this can happen. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then over to this side. Okay, so we've got a larger room here, but it's not, strictly speaking, a large room, because large rooms are meant to be 36 squares or larger. I'll just double check that in here. Just looking at a book. 32 squares or larger. So 5 times 7 is 30. Is it 30? No. What is it? 5 times 7. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. It is 30. I thought I was right. I was going crazy. Dear oh dear. Maths is not my strong suit. So it's just 35. 35. It is a large room. Brilliant. Okay, good. So large rooms. But it is 6 by 5, which is why I didn't count the 35. So sorry guys. I was already ahead of myself. And that sounds like a really bad excuse, but it's true. I'd already counted the 6, you see. So subconsciously I knew. It is 6 by 5 though. So it isn't a large room. Because you see what I did, I looked at it, I thought that doesn't look like a large room. So that is, yeah, that's typically embarrassing. So 30 after all. You said it. Right, it's 42. The maze has Toby baffled already. It does. Oh dear. This is not good. All right. Right, so it has one exit. Okay. This could be so cool. Let's do the exit down here like this. Okay. So this room is the bull statue. Okay, cool. That's right, bull statue here. Be nice if there's a Minotaur room down here. That'd be very cool. So in the middle of this room is a large bull statue. It comes to life and attacks you using the scuttle cow settings, stats. Okay. There we go. It's a TARDIS room, Johnny. Yeah, exactly. Oh, how cool would it be if I got a license to do a Doctor Who version of this game? How cool would that be? Anyhow, I'm probably not don't know enough about Doctor Who to do that, but that'd be cool. So we're gonna go down this room. Is that the first monster you've encountered so far? Yeah, we've encountered a couple of traps. It actually uses the Earth Croc stats, not the Scuttle Cow. That is the first monster. The next room, though, you get to fight the monster, get the escape the TARDIS called escapes. Yikes! Okay, here we go. Down to this room. All right, so it's one. I am rolling so many ones today. It's ridiculous. 1 by 2. Okay, so goes down a bit further, like so. And how many exits? 1 exit. We'll add it on the end. Yeah, like this. Let's roll this again. Here we go. What is this? This is going to be 4 by 1. So we're going to have 4, because it goes sideways, this one. 4 by 1. How many exits does it have? Oh, how many exits? 1. So this is going to be a dead end here, with an exit here. Okay. What have we got? Look at that. 1 by 6. It takes it down to 5. To 4. 1 by 4. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4. How many exits? 6. Wow. No, 3. 1, 2, 3. Like so, and then 1 at the bottom, which we'll just leave as it is. So we're going to do this one first. 6 by 6. 4 by 4. And then 4 by 4. 6 by 10. So we've got 6 by 10. So this fits into this space. It isn't big enough, I don't think, to be a large room. How many's it got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 3. 21. That dice could come in some form of gambling. You're not kidding. The odds of rolling all these ones. It's ridiculous. Okay, this is the final room, though. This is the Minotaur Hall. So this is the Minotaur. In the middle of the shadowy, dusty bowl of a room is a crouching figure. The Minotaur slowly rises. It charges you and attacks first. If you survive, you find a chest at the rear of the room. Roll on blah 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 blah. Okay, excellent. So this is the Minotaur Hall. In there like that. brilliant. Okay. So we end that room sequence, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms within that space there, which seems perfect, which seems exactly what I wanted. Let's finish off these little rooms here. 6 by 1, so 4 by 1, so that goes all the way up to there. It's a dead end there. How many exits? 2. 1, 2, and we'll go up this top one. 1 by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There. And there's not really anything that can go into the end here. So how many exits for that one? 6. So we'll go 1 up, which then just becomes a dead end at the top here. We can have 1 here, again a dead end, and then we can put 1 here. So there's 3 exits from that tunnel. And then potentially, hold on, I missed something. Why is this the Minotaur Hall? Because we are in the room sequence. So Johnny, so sequence of rooms, yes. So we had this sequence here. So from level 6 onwards, you can have a sequence of rooms that you then fill in as you go. So to sort of theme it, when you're deeper in the dungeon, certain parts of the dungeon will be taken over by certain creatures or powers, and they have like a series of rooms which belong to them, and you experience those as the adventurer. And it's a system that is described at the beginning of level 6 in the Tables Codex. There's a good description of it there. So, and then this space here, 1 by 2, 1 and 2 up is a dead end there. So we've got, and oh, so you roll for a room, then automatically choose the following 4 rooms. We don't choose them; it's chosen for you. So if you were to roll ornate statues, decorated columns, bull statue, or Minotaur Hall, any of those, you immediately start ornate statues, and then the preceding normal rooms or large rooms become the room that follows next. Okay. In fact, I haven't actually done. Interesting. I meant to put. I've just spotted something myself. Exits and. I need to change on the tables here. Exits and next. I just forgot to put the next column in. That's silly. For these tables, I will put those in. But they naturally, you can see where those sequences start. I'll put that in there tomorrow. You may have a next column on these tables, but I've forgotten it. Oh, it's too much stuff to remember. I made myself a note there. Right. And let's just finish off these 2 here. And we've got this one here. 6 by 4, 4 by 2. So we've got 2 across and 4 down, which is going to give us just a little room here that we roll for. Small room. How many exits first? 3. There's 1, and that will naturally just link up with this one here. Put that in there like that. So it just leads down to a little room here. Okay. Is it required to fill in the rest, or this is just for kick? Yeah, it's just for kicks. These little areas here you don't have to fill in, but because I'm generating the maze, I thought I'd do it and see how it looked, if you catch my drift. And what I might do is just draw this up with pen and see how that goes. And we'd find out that that room was for a symbol. There's a symbol here. Awesome. Brilliant. Okay, well, I'm going to leave that there because that gives a really good kind of demonstration about how the maze level works. And I think it works. I'm pleased with how it looks. So what would be great is if anybody who's watching would like to give this a go and maybe post your maze images on the Facebook group so that I can got some other ones to reference. I'm going to do a few more myself, although I do spend a lot of time writing the next table, so I get less time for stuff like this. Filling the voids will make it easier to see. Looking forward to playing this level. Brilliant. Thanks, Jeff. I look forward to seeing how it goes. I mean, if you just wanted to try and generate some stuff, that would be brilliant. See sort of some tests and see what people think. Fantastic. Right. So it has been awesome this evening, catching up with everybody, having a chat, answering some questions, learning how to say Joal, the name Joal, and Javier, remembering how to say Javier, and trying to get that all right. So great stuff. Yeah, I'm quite tired, so I'm going to call it there, everybody. I'll do some more. We'll be doing more stuff next week, having a look at some other bits and pieces. And of course, I'll be active on the Facebook group, so don't forget that's there. Colour pencils are way more fun than they should be for a grown-up. Yeah, absolutely. This level seems like it has the right learning curve with remembering to subtract the dice, but should be manageable. Has a slight learning curve. Yes, it does have a slight learning curve, but I think it's fun. It kind of gives a different feel, and so far it's kind of worked. Still the work day here, 3:40 p.m, almost midnight for you. I am 8 hours behind you. Yes. Joal, no problem. I'll have more maps as work allows. Have a good rest, Toby. Thank you. No resting, I'm afraid, but I'm enjoying what I'm doing. 2d4 instead for this. Crap phone. That will really. We only use the d6 in this game. Have a good one, Toby. Thanks, Cody. Guys, you are awesome. I've really enjoyed it this evening. It's nice to be able to chat with you guys. I don't get to talk to a lot of people, though not physically talking to you, unless Joal sends me like the videos. But it's nice to just sort of hear people's comments and be able to sort of chat and feel like I'm not a loner on my own. Although I have my beautiful wife here, so she is awesome. James Mycroft, oh man, thought I was getting my first stream. Guess I am too late. James, I'm so sorry. This is going to be the normal time now. I think we are going to shift these streams from to the 10 o'clock start for me, so I can catch more people. It seems like we've got more people in at this time, which is fantastic. Shield Die Studio, thanks for the stream. Great game. Thanks. Thank you. This is fun. Thanks for the session, Johnny says. Appreciate that. And if you missed any of it, don't forget you can watch the vlog back. It does take about an hour to properly download, I think. But yes. Thank you, Daniel. No worries. Really enjoy what you're putting together. Thank you, James. That means a lot. Thank you. It has the response has been fantastic. You guys are awesome, and I'm going to say good night there. So take care, everybody, and I will catch up with you very, very soon.